Guys, they say Niger Republic, Burkina Faso and Mali, they said they don't expose France again. They say the whole terrorists that have been disturbing their territory was sponsored by France. Then say they begin to notice that since when France troops landed in their country to help them fight the terrorists. They say since then they noticed that the terrorist is more equipped and more trained again. So that is the reason why they are forcing France troops to leave their country with immediate effect. Guys, I don't need to talk too much. If you get this video, they share this video, make you reach other African countries. If you know, say, waiting France they do for the una country, they okay, make una leave this video. But if you think, say, these people are not really meant good for you, then share this video to reach more other countries. Thank you.
Do you know what it takes to eke a living in the semi-arid Niger? So every hour, every day counts. But the people in Niger have spent the last 3 days demonstrating and holding these massive rallies, demanding that the French troops leave their country. The problem started when Mali had a coup, and then the neighboring Burkina Faso also had a coup. And these two countries managed to expel the French troops that were there. In Mali, there were about 9,000 French troops that had came there for intervention. They were part of the Barkhane operation to fight Islamic terrorism in Mali, in the north of Mali. But according to the locals, the moment those French troops came there, these terrorists got better, training, better tactics, and even better weapons to continue wreaking havoc in that region. And a lot of people suspected that the French troops had something to do with it. They were not there to fight these groups, but to support them. In the neighboring Burkina Faso, the story was almost the same. The locals suspected that the French troops were working alongside or working with these Islamic terror groups. And 4,000 troops in Burkina Faso were also expelled. So all these 9,000 from Mali and about 4,000 from Burkina Faso went to Niger because they were invited by the Nigerian president to go there. So about 12,000 French troops or thereabouts have a base or several bases in Niger. And it's this group that is giving the military rulers in Niger sleepless nights. And that's why now the locals and the citizens of Niger are holding these rallies so that these French troops can leave their soil. And what are the French saying? The French ambassador in Niger had something to say. He actually issued a warning saying that those troops are going nowhere. That's what he said. And this prompted the Nigerian military junta to issue or to revoke his diplomatic immunity and request the police in Niger to arrest him and deport him. I don't know whether that happened. A week earlier, the French president, he was at this conference of ambassadors, and he said that were it not for these French troops, countries like Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali would not exist today, because he was saying that these Islamic terrorists were about to cut these countries into sizes and reduce their territorial limits. That's what he said. I don't know what intel he had, but these Islamic terrorists are not that many. They are not able to do that. But definitely you understand why the people in Niger had rallies to demonstrate against these French troops and against the French ambassador and against the French government. They want them out of their country so that for the first time they can prove to the world that Niger can live without France. Of course, we don't know whether France can do without West Africa, but West Africa wants to prove a point. They want to prove a point that we can survive and do well without France. Because for so many years, France has always said that these West African countries cannot do without them. That's the narrative. But then some people have always said, no, it's the other way around. France can't do without Africa. So this is the moment they want to prove that. Is it France that can't do without West Africa, or is it West Africa that can't survive without France? Let's go to Gabon. So what is happening there? According to the latest story, is that the coup in Gabon is somehow a fraud, because the coup leader happens to be the cousin to the ousted president. And the coup leader, according to some intel from the United States, has properties and investment in the US worth more than 3 million US dollars. And that is homes. He owns several homes in the US worth that much. And a lot of pundits believe that maybe the coup is not a coup after all. It's a way of extending the Bongo family rule beyond the current or the ousted president. The opposition in Gabon is jittery, accusing General Brice Oligui Nguema, who basically is the leader of the coup, as being part of the project by the Bongo family, because he's a cousin to the president he's supposed to have removed from power. And he was also a bodyguard to the late president, who is also the father of the current ousted president. So they are saying they are not sure that the coup is a coup after all. But for me, I believe that Gabon deserved a coup, whichever type of coup, because change is always good, and the coup was long time overdue. Let's just say that. So the mutinous soldiers who toppled Bongo last week were led by President Bongo's cousin, which doesn't make sense. Believe me, it doesn't just make sense. It doesn't make sense. Maybe he's for real, but still doesn't make sense.